Hey guys, welcome back to the Curly Reader. My name's Amanda, and today I want to chat with you guys about audiobooks. All right, so I listen to audiobooks a lot. Like, it's over 50% of my reading easily. I started listening to audiobooks back in 2014, I think was when I really started getting going hardcore on audiobooks. Um, as far as listening to them from my library and things like that. And it's pretty much just been a continuous thing since then. I have listened to many of my all-time favorite books on audiobooks. And so, yeah, I thought I would chat with you guys today about the apps that I use to listen to them, the headphones that I use to listen to them, when I listen to them, where I listen to them, all that sort of stuff. So, if you are up for it, let's get into it. So, up until this year, I exclusively listened to audiobooks from my library. I would only use free resources to listen to audiobooks. And so, I have been very, very fortunate in the fact that I have lived in multiple locations and had library cards at multiple libraries in different states. And when I've moved, I have retained my library access to some of those libraries as well. And so, as far as accessing their electronic resources, those have kind of transferred with me. And I live in a location now which has an excellent electronic library resource. So, there are two apps that I use to listen to books to listen to books from my library. The first of which is Hoopla. Hoopla is an app that many libraries use. It is different from your typical library resource in the fact that there is not a set number of copies of a particular book that you can have access to on this app. The way that this app works is that your library system as a whole has a number of checkouts that they will allow daily. So once your library system has reached their daily limit of checkouts, the whole system is cut off for the day. So if that means that 250 people want to read one book, they can all read the same book, but you only get those 250 or however many your library has. So it can be really good for new releases. There's no wait lists. Everything's available right now. They have ebooks, audiobooks. They have some videos like movies, things like that, articles, things of that nature. But the other thing is that a lot of times with this resource, there is a cap on how many checkouts you personally can have in a month. So for my library system, I can have 5 checkouts per month. So if I have checked out 5 things in a month, I'm cut off for the rest of the month, and then it recycles at the beginning of the month. So I can get all of those at the beginning of the month through the end of the month. However, so yeah, it's just a little bit different that way. And so like I said, it can be really good for new releases that you don't want to have to wait for. And every library is going to be a little bit different on what they have access to within the Hoopla program. So this is what Hoopla looks like. When you open it up, you have your audiobooks, comics, ebooks, movies, music, television. You can kind of see what my recently borrowed looks like here. I'm currently listening or getting ready to listen to Ray Bearer. You have recommendations, things like that. You can kind of browse audiobooks, comics. Hoopla is really good for like graphic novels and comics, I will say. So I also you have your My Hoopla. You can also put things into favorites. So if you know that you have something you have had your eye on that you want to remember for the future, I have audiobooks and ebook favorites here. You have a search setting. So that can be a really good thing. The other nice thing with Hoopla is that you can put on the kids version of it. Kids mode can be turned on. And then when you search, you're only bringing up things that are kid friendly. So like if my kids wanted to search for what's something they've been reading, Nathan Hale books, Nathan Hale's Hazardous Tales, they can bring that up and they're only going to be getting the kids stuff. So that is really nice as well. So then when you want to listen to a book on Hoopla, you just click on the book and it will load up. And this is what the interface looks like. So you have your pause, your 30 seconds forward, 30 seconds back. You have your chapter forward, or like section forward, section back. And then if you click on menu, you can change your playback speed. And it has it only has increments of 0.25 that you can change your playback speed to. You can also add a sleep timer in 15-minute increments up to an hour. And then you can also view chapters. You can view where they're at in the book. This tells you how long each chapter is. And you can also view bookmarks. So that's another fun thing with audiobooks, is you can put bookmarks in. If you hear something that's fun or that's interesting, you know you want to come back to, you can put bookmarks in. So that's the interface for Hoopla. So that is Hoopla. All right. Then the other library app that I use is actually two different apps, but they're run by the same company and they sync with each other. And that is Overdrive and Libby. So Overdrive was the old version. Libby is like, they tried to make a new app, but not everybody switched over to Libby. So you can use either or. And with this one, you use your library card. And this one is more like a traditional library where there is a certain number of copies of the book that they have. You go on a wait list, you have it for a certain amount of time, and then, you know, it kind of goes from there. And this one, once again, you have audiobooks and ebooks. This one doesn't. Sometimes there's graphic novels, but it's not like television, movies, anything like that, like Hoopla is. All right, so let me pull up and I will show you what Overdrive looks like. All right, so this is what my Overdrive homepage looks like. This is my current library system that I'm part of. And so once I pull this up, I can then search for whatever book I want. So say I want to listen to Unbroken by Laura Hillenbrand, which I highly recommend. It's a fantastic audiobook. I can see here that I have the audiobook and the ebook both available. And so I can just click on borrow if I want to borrow it. So if I click on borrow, I don't know why I just clicked on the ebook. Let's try the audiobook since we're talking about audiobooks. I click on borrow and then I download it. Once that's downloaded on my phone, I do not have to have connection to Wi-Fi or anything like that to listen to it. It's automatically on my phone. And then I can go back here and I can go to my bookshelf and kind of get a view of all the different libraries I have access to. So you can go back to my bookshelf and you can see right here that I have access to that. At that point, I can click right on it. Oops, let's see if it's gonna. And it's gonna play my audiobook. I can change the speed on here. I can have a sleep timer turned on. There we go. I can have a sleep timer turned on. And so, yeah, I like that this also has this volume boost button, which is fantastic. I love that. You have your 15-second skip back and forth. You can view your chapter lists here. So I really like this one. It shows your total length of time, where you're at. And then, so that's what this one shows. This is kind of the interface for it. And then on Libby, this is what my homepage looks like on Libby. So you can see that it updated and now I have Unbroken. It automatically updates because I checked it out from Overdrive. And so I have mine set up to where it automatically downloads everything that I have checked out, just because that's easier for me. My kids have checked out a few things on here too. And so this has all of my ebooks and all of my audiobooks, but I can go up here and I can click on shelf and I can click on, if I click on loans, I can click on audiobooks, and this is going to show me only my audiobooks that I have checked out right now. Like I said, my kids listen to audiobooks a lot, so there's a lot of their books on here. I also share library cards with my mom, and I'll get that in. And so she's actually listening to Molokai right now. So there's a bunch of different things on here, but these are kind of what is in my arsenal right now. The Bean Trees, that's on my April TBR. I have that checked out. On Libby, when you want to listen to one, you click on it, and this is what the interface looks like. So once again, you have your speed. The nice thing with this is that you can fine tune your speed to go from 0.6 all the way up to 3.0 in 0.05 increments. So that's a really nice feature. This also has, once again, your sleep timer. You can also fine tune that in 5-minute increments. And then you can put in your bookmarks. You can view any bookmarks that you have. And then if you click down here, you can view all of your different chapters where you're at. You can also, you can also, once this is playing, you can see where you're at in the book right here, right up here, and it shows, your total amount of time in the book, how far you're in, and your percentage, which I love that you can see your percentage. Once again, you have that 15-second skip forward, skip back. You have chapter, skip forward, skip back, and it shows you how many minutes are in the chapter. So I really, really like this interface as far as apps go. So those are the library apps. And then this year, I started subscribing to Scribd. Scribd is a paid service. It is $8.99 a month, and you get unlimited checkouts of books. With Scribd, they have ebooks, audiobooks, sheet music, articles, like all sorts of things in it. And I really like it because unlike Audible, you can get as many listens in as you want a month, but you don't own them. For me, it's not an incentive to own an audiobook because I very, very rarely reread books. And when I do, I can get them from my library most of the time. I use Scribd to listen to audiobooks that I can't find at my library. It's really good for listening to British or UK or foreign, any foreign books, writers, authors, I don't know the proper terminology, work, because it's worldwide. Whereas with the library systems in the US, we get mostly US authors. Not all, but mostly. And so Scribd, I have been able to find a lot of UK authors on Scribd that I haven't been able to find in my library, especially the audiobooks. So that is something that I really, really like about Scribd. Now, I will say there is a caveat to Scribd because there's some weird algorithm within it that if you are listening to a lot of like popular books or new release books or anything like that, then they will limit what you have to select from to listen to or to read. So you may have an arsenal of books that you're really excited about reading, and if you start reading a lot, then they'll start pulling them back and say, oh wait, you can't have access to these ones for another couple of weeks. And they're not really transparent about what that algorithm is. They just will say it's the way they have it set up with their licensure for all the books they have. They do have a lot of new releases, so that's really good, but it's like there's pros and cons to it, because if you're listening to a lot of new releases, they have to make sure that with their licenses for how many how many copies they have and things like that, that they're staying within their contracts. So I will say that it can get kind of dicey. I have never had the experience where something has cut out when in the middle of me listening to it. When I'm like in the middle of a book, they'll pull it out from under me. I know other people have had that experience. I personally have never had that experience, but I listen to so much audio stuff that even if they did that during middle grade March, I was listening to a lot of stuff on Scribd. I had saved a lot of stuff, and so they ended up pulling like 4 or 5 titles out and said, oh, wait, you can't listen to these until like April 13th or something. And it wasn't a big deal for me because I have so much on my TBR that I'll just pick something else. And so for me, it's not a big deal, but I can see how it could be a big deal to others. All right, so Scribd, let's look at the interface. So this is my homepage for Scribd. You can see titles I've saved. They're all middle grade. I mean, These are probably all, yeah, these are all the ones that I saved during middle grade March. So if you look at what I have here, you'll see a couple Tracy Holzer books, yeah, and then a nonfiction book. So these are my saved books, but if I go back to home, I can search for whatever. So once again, say I want to listen to one of my favorite, all-time favorite audiobooks, Echo by Pam Munoz Ryan. I search for Echo. It comes right up here, but I can also click on audiobooks and that will pull up only audiobooks. I click on Echo and I can click listen now. I have heard that a way to like circumnavigate the whole meeting your quota for the month sort of thing and having things is to not save it. But if you don't save it, I don't think it keeps track of where you're at in the book. And so, I mean, it just depends on what you want to do with it. So you can download it. If you download it, that means you don't have to be connected to Wi-Fi to listen to it. Or you can just hit listen now. But I tend to save all of mine. That way it saves it in a folder. I can get to it quickly. It'll tell you all the different stuff about that book. So if I just click listen now, this is what the interface looks like. It tells you at the top how much time is left in the book, which I kind of like. So you have your sleep timer here. If you click on that, you can customize it like down to the minute, which is kind of cool. You can also, they have the end of chapter option, which I really like as well. So that's your sleep timer. Your speed, I'm not a huge fan of their speed increments because it's just kind of wonky, but you know, it works. So it is what it is. They have a bookmark options, you know, for when you want to add a bookmark to it, your 30-second skip forward, skip back, and then your incremental skip forward, skip back. So once I start listening to this, say that I get a ways into it, once I back out, click save for later, it will show me on my saved interface how much time I have left in it and what percentage I'm at. So that is also nice. So I'm going to remove that one because I've listened to it. It's amazing. One of my favorite audiobooks of all time. It is, yeah. So those are the like 3 main apps that I use. My go-tos are Libby and Scribd. Like, if I'm being completely honest, Libby is my like ride or die, and then Scribd is my like backup plan, and then I'll hit Hoopla if I can't find it in either of those 2 places. Those are my preferred apps. If I get desperate, I will very, very, very occasionally listen to a book on Audible. My sister has an Audible subscription, and so she'll let me like use a credit here or there, and that's what I use. I do not pay for Audible. I don't think it's worth the money. I just don't. The amount of ebooks that you can listen to from your library makes Audible not worth the money. The only thing that I could see possibly spending money on Audible for are for the Audible exclusives if you know you want to listen to the audiobook. But for those ones, I've just picked up the physical book because I don't like the fact that there are Audible exclusives. I just don't. It bugs me. It just does. So those are the apps that I use to listen to my audiobooks. So the other thing that I wanted to share with you are the earbuds that I use when I listen to audiobooks. My number one, like, I have been using this earbud for ever and a long, long time, years and years and years. This is what it looks like. It is a single earbud. It is not a pair. It is a single earbud that can fit in either your right ear or your left ear. It will fit in both ears equally because of the way that it's designed. I love it so much. It is the most comfortable earbud that I have ever worn. It does not hurt my ear. It stays in my ear. I love it. And I love that it's a single earbud. I personally always only use one earbud because I always have the kids around. And I never want my kids to think that I'm not available. So I always have an ear on the kids and I have an ear in my book. That's the way I listen to audiobooks. So, and I understand that that's not everybody. That's not everybody's cup of tea. Lots of people like to have them both in. Even when I'm out walking, even if I'm driving in a car by myself, I only have one earbud in because I want to be listening to what's going on around me. I'm not one of those types of people that have to have noise canceling like focus on, especially when I'm listening to an audiobook. So this is what I use. So this comes with this charger. This is the charger. It's magnetic. It just attaches to it, and you plug this into a USB port. And so I actually have an outlet that has 2 USB ports on it in my kitchen, and this is just plugged in there. And so every night before I go to bed, it just goes on the charger. It holds an amazing charge. If I charge it overnight, I can use this all day long, and I don't have any issues with it. So this has worked out so well for me. I cannot recommend it enough. It will be linked below. But I also recently got a couple pairs of like 2 headphones. I don't know, like an actual pair of headphones. I actually got a couple different pair, and I was trying out which ones I like best. And I actually like best the brand, the same brand that this one is. And it's MPOW is the brand. I got them off of Amazon. These ones are a little bit bigger. They're still really comfortable in the ear. They actually come with a couple of different like silicone. I'm trying to take this one off, but this one is actually the flat one because there's like this silicone piece that goes around it. And there's another one that comes with it that actually has like a little bit of a wing on it so that if it won't stay in your ear, you can like clip it in your ear. I don't know what the right word is. And then of course they all come with like multiple sizes of the actual ear piece. I don't know what I'm saying. The thing that I have found though with the ones that have 2, one, I don't like that I can't just like take it out and put it in the other ear because I do that a ton with this one. So that's just something that I've kind of gotten used to. But the other thing is that the syncing with these is a little funky. With this one, I just hold onto the button, it turns on, it syncs with my phone, I'm good to go. With this one, because I prefer to only use one at a time, it just throws off the syncing a little bit. I think if I used both of them all the time, I wouldn't have an issue. So these are super, super, super comfortable as well. These are the most comfortable ones that I have owned, and they are not expensive at all. Like, I think they're like $30, maybe $30. So I will link both of these down below. And this one comes in a little charging case. Like I said, you have 2 headphones, and then you can plug the charging case. It has a micro USB charger that you can charge the charging case with. And then this will hold a charge. And then when they're dead, you can put it in here until the charging case runs out of juice, and then you have to plug that in. So those are the headphones that I use. These are also like water resistant. So if you wanted to wear them, like my mom wears hers in the shower, which I don't do. But you could use it while you're exercising. Same with these as well. So anyway, that's what I use for all of that. And then as far as like when and where do I listen to audiobooks? All the time, in all the places. So I will listen to audiobooks. Like I said, I pretty much wake up as soon as I go downstairs, this goes in my ear, and it's in my ear until I go to bed at night. I take it out and I put it in my back pocket a lot, but it's pretty much just I have it in. And then also like as I'm getting notifications on my phone or whatever throughout the day, it's just in my ear. But as far as audiobooks go, I listen to audiobooks while I'm doing house chores. I listen to them in the car a lot, even if I'm just driving kids around like to preschool or whatever. Not that we're going to preschool right now. I don't even have a kid in preschool right now, but when I did, I was listening to audiobooks. And now when I go to the store, I'll throw an audiobook in my ear while I'm at the store, depending on how much attention I need to be paying to things. But when I'm driving is probably one of the top places I listen to audiobooks. I will also just sit on my couch and listen to audiobooks and play a game on my phone. I do that quite a bit. When I'm crafting, so like when I do my bullet journals, if I'm coloring, if I'm cross-stitching or crocheting or anything like that. If I take my kids to the park and I'm watching them play at the park, I'll throw an audiobook in my ear because I have a harder time looking at my book and focusing. If I'm at the park, supposed to be watching my kids, I'm constantly up and down, there's things going on. But if I put an audiobook in, I can just kind of keep an eye on everything and listen to my audiobook. And that works really, really well for me. I listen to them constantly. And I listen to them everywhere. Like, that's the great thing about audiobooks now, with them being able to be on your phone. Like, you have your phone with you, you get a Bluetooth earbud. I have had friends that have had the wired ones too, that they click to their phone. I love just having my Bluetooth one in my ear, because if I set my phone down, I can put my phone down in my bedroom and I can be going all over the entire house and have my audiobook on. And I don't have to worry about a cord getting in my way. I don't have to worry about it getting tangled in my hair. It's just easy. I listen to them on road trips too. Like if my husband's driving, I will just sit in the passenger seat and play a game on my phone and listen to an audiobook. And then if he wants to chat, I just click it off and we chat. And then when he's done chatting, I'll turn it back on. So it's a great inconspicuous way to keep that audiobook going throughout the day. And just even if you're listening to 10 minutes here and there, it adds up really quick. So I hope that this was kind of useful for you. I hope that you learned something here. I will link the headphones, this one and these ones both, down below in the description box. I will also have a link for Scribd down below. I think you get 60 days free. So if you use the link, you get 60 days free. Try it out, see what you think, and then if it's not worth it, cancel it. I mean, it's at least worth a free trial. If you use that link, I do get a free month as well. So if you don't want to use my link, you don't have to. But I would recommend checking out the free trial for Scribd. Because I personally, as much as I listen to audiobooks, I think it's worth it, even if they do like pull some back occasionally, like I said. But yeah, and then I highly recommend checking out your library and see what audiobook resources they use. A lot of libraries now are switching over, I know, to Libby. Mine recently, within the last year, switched to Libby from a few other apps. And so, which I was really excited about because all my old libraries used Libby. All right, I'm going to shut up now. So I hope, like I said, that this was useful for you. If you listen to audiobooks, let me know like some of your hacks that you use down below. Let me know some of your favorite audiobooks that you would recommend. And other than that, I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that you stick around and subscribe. And until next time, see ya.